A brand new Social Security direct deposit rule has just been announced, and it could leave millions of Americans at risk of missing their next payment. If you depend on SSA, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, this update directly impacts you. The rule changes how your deposits are processed, and if you're not prepared, your money may not arrive on time, or could even be delayed altogether. Imagine expecting your monthly check only to find it missing from your account. This is the exact nightmare many seniors and families could face under the new system. In today's urgent update, we'll explain exactly what's changing, who is most affected, and the critical steps you must take now to make sure you don't lose your payment. Don't wait until it's too late. This could be the most important Social Security news of the year. Before we dive deep into these critical changes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to bringing you the latest updates on Social Security, retirement planning, and financial security. You won't want to miss our upcoming videos on protecting your benefits and maximizing your Social Security payments. Now, let's get into today's urgent topic. You know, I've been getting hundreds of messages from worried viewers asking, what's happening with Social Security direct deposits? And why is the SSA making these changes? These are excellent questions, and today we're going to break down everything, from why these changes are happening to exactly what you need to do to ensure you don't miss a single payment. First, let me address what's actually changing. The Social Security Administration is implementing new security measures for direct deposit accounts, and they're doing this for a very good reason. In the past year alone, there's been a shocking increase in Social Security fraud cases, with scammers targeting vulnerable beneficiaries and redirecting their payments to fraudulent accounts. The SSA estimates that these scams have cost beneficiaries millions of dollars, and that's exactly why they're tightening up their security measures. But here's where it gets tricky and why you need to pay very close attention. The new rules require all beneficiaries to verify their direct deposit information through a new multi-step authentication process. This isn't just a simple confirmation of your bank account number anymore. The SSA is now requiring additional verification steps that many beneficiaries aren't prepared for, and that's where the potential for missed payments comes in. Let me share a story that recently came to my attention. Sarah, a retired teacher from Ohio, nearly missed her monthly payment because she wasn't aware of these new requirements. She had been receiving her Social Security benefits via direct deposit for over a decade without any issues. But last month, she received a notice from the SSA that she needed to verify her information through their new system. Like many others, she thought it was just another piece of junk mail and almost ignored it. Thankfully, her daughter caught it in time, and they were able to complete the verification process before the deadline. This brings me to an important question. When do these changes take effect? The SSA is rolling out these new requirements in phases, starting with beneficiaries who have had the same direct deposit information for more than 5 years. Yes, you heard that right. Even if you've had the same bank account for decades, you'll need to go through this new verification process. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly do I need to do to verify my information? The process involves several steps, and I'm going to break them down for you in detail. First, you'll need to create or update your My Social Security account online. This is crucial because the new verification process will be primarily conducted through this portal. If you haven't already set up your online account, don't worry, I'll explain how to do that in just a moment. The verification process requires you to provide several forms of identification. This includes your Social Security number, of course, but also a valid government-issued ID such as a driver's license or passport. You'll also need to verify your current address and provide recent banking statements that match your direct deposit information. But here's something many people don't realize, and this is really important. The SSA is also implementing new requirements for joint accounts. If your Social Security benefits are deposited into a joint account, both account holders will need to go through a separate verification process. This is causing quite a bit of confusion, especially for elderly couples who have shared their finances for decades. Let's talk about the timeline for these changes. The SSA is giving beneficiaries a 60-day window to complete the verification process once they receive their notice. After that, if the verification isn't completed, your direct deposit could be suspended and your benefits could be delayed. This is why it's crucial to act as soon as you receive any communication from the SSA about these changes. I've received questions from viewers asking, what if I don't have internet access or I'm not comfortable using computers? This is a valid concern, especially considering that many Social Security beneficiaries are elderly or may have limited access to technology. The good news is that the SSA has recognized this challenge and is providing alternative methods for verification. You can visit your local Social Security office in person or, in some cases, complete the verification process by phone. However, there's a catch, and this is something you really need to know. The in-person and phone verification options may take longer to process, which could potentially delay your benefits. That's why I strongly recommend completing the process online if possible, perhaps with the help of a trusted family member or friend. Let me address another common question I've been getting. What if I recently changed banks or plan to change banks soon? This is particularly important because the new rules also affect how bank account changes are handled. Under the new system, any changes to your direct deposit information will require an enhanced verification process, which could take up to 3 business days to complete. This means you'll need to plan ahead if you're thinking about switching banks. Now, here's something that's causing a lot of concern among beneficiaries. The SSA is also implementing new fraud prevention measures that could temporarily suspend direct deposits if they detect any suspicious activity. While this is meant to protect beneficiaries, it could lead to payment delays if your account triggers any of their security alerts. Let me give you an example of what might trigger these security alerts. If you suddenly change your address and your bank account at the same time, this could flag your account for review. Similarly, if there are multiple failed login attempts to your My Social Security account, this could also trigger a security review. But don't worry, I'm going to share some tips to help you avoid these potential issues. First and foremost, keep your contact information up to date with the SSA. This includes your phone number and email address. The SSA will use these to contact you if there are any issues with your account or if they need additional verification. Another important tip, and this is something many people overlook, is to regularly monitor your My Social Security account. Set up text or email alerts for any account activity. This way, you'll be immediately notified if there are any changes or attempts to change your direct deposit information. Let's talk about some of the documents you'll need to have ready for the verification process. You'll want to gather these before you start. Your Social Security card or number, a valid government-issued photo ID, recent bank statements, proof of address, utility bill, lease agreement, etc. Your current phone number and email address. Information about any joint account holders, if applicable. Now, I know this might seem overwhelming, but remember, these changes are being implemented to protect you and your benefits. Identity theft and Social Security fraud have become increasingly sophisticated. And these new measures, while sometimes inconvenient, are necessary to ensure your benefits remain secure. Here's another important aspect that's not getting enough attention. The new rules also affect representative payees, people who manage benefits on behalf of someone else. If you're a representative payee, you'll need to go through an additional verification process to maintain your authority to manage the beneficiary's payments. I've also been getting questions about what happens if someone misses the verification deadline. While the SSA has stated they won't immediately cut off benefits, they will begin sending paper checks instead of direct deposits. However, this is not a long-term solution, and it could lead to significant delays in receiving your benefits. Let me share another real-world example. Tom, a retired veteran from Florida, didn't realize he needed to verify his direct deposit information because he was traveling when the notice arrived. When he returned home, he found that his payment had been converted to a paper check, which took an additional week to arrive. This caused him considerable stress and difficulty in paying his bills on time. This brings up another important point. What should you do if you're temporarily away from home or traveling? The best approach is to set up mail forwarding with the Postal Service and ensure your My Social Security account is accessible from wherever you are. You might also want to designate a trusted family member to check your mail and alert you of any SSA communications. Now, let's address some concerns about privacy and security. Some viewers have asked whether these new verification requirements might make their personal information more vulnerable. The SSA has assured beneficiaries that they've implemented state-of-the-art encryption and security measures to protect all information submitted through their verification system. However, this is a good time to remind everyone about best practices for protecting your Social Security information. Never share your Social Security number or account information over the phone unless you initiated the call to the SSA's official number. Don't click on links in emails claiming to be from the SSA. Always go directly to the official website. Create strong, unique passwords for your My Social Security account. Enable two-factor authentication when available. Let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid during this transition. One of the biggest mistakes is assuming that because you've been receiving benefits without issues for years, you don't need to comply with these new requirements. Another common error is waiting until the last minute to begin the verification process. Remember, if there are any issues or questions, you'll want plenty of time to resolve them before your next payment is due. I want to address something that's causing confusion for many beneficiaries: the difference between these new verification requirements and the regular reviews that the SSA conducts. These new direct deposit rules are separate from, and in addition to, any regular benefit reviews or continuing disability reviews you might undergo. Now, here's something particularly important for those of you who receive other federal benefits along with Social Security. These new direct deposit rules may also affect how you receive other federal payments, such as SSI or veterans benefits. You'll want to check with each relevant agency to ensure your direct deposit information is properly verified across all your federal benefits. Let me address a question that came up in my community posts. What if I need to make changes to my direct deposit information after I've completed the verification process? You'll be able to make changes, but they'll require additional verification steps. The key is to plan ahead and allow extra time for any banking changes you need to make. For those of you wondering about the future, these new security measures are likely just the beginning. The SSA has indicated that they plan to continue enhancing their security protocols to stay ahead of evolving fraud threats.